One of the things that we try to do every year at the summit is provide one customer service training idea. So I remember the first year we came in and we just did a little game where we brought puzzles and the big piece puzzles. And then you have a partner and we blindfolded one partner and then you have to tell your blindfolded partner how to put the puzzle back together. And it was really fun because you say, no, go up a little bit more. And they're like, up more. Does that mean up this way or no, to the other side, to the other side? What side? And so that whole customer service training, that little game that we play with the puzzles, was designed to teach how you think you might be telling someone how to do their job and you're really not communicating very well. So that we gave people puzzles and that's what we did. So this year, the staff training idea is a customer service training idea. And I'm going to share one thing that we do in a couple notes about teaching customer service. For me, the challenge of teaching customer service is you're trying to teach someone how to be cool. I mean, how do you teach someone not to be lame to other people? And it's a tough proposition, and I used to say, no, either you have it or you don't. But that's not entirely true. I now believe you really can teach people to be cool. You really can teach them to be better at how they respond to situations and how they treat people. So let's go through a few ideas. So I have a confession. I ordered these water weenies, but I renamed them water wiggles because my example sounded really nasty over the microphone. So I had this example and I left the water weenies at home. But I was going to say teaching customer service is kind of like trying to run the 4x4 relay with a water wiggle baton. You know what those things are? And you squeeze them and they just slide out from you. And can you imagine running a race where someone has to pass that off? It would just be all over the place. And I feel that's the way customer service is because it's hard enough to get your own hand around the concept, much less pass it on to someone else. Yeah, you're smiling because you saw the predicament I was in with my, with my first example. What customers expect. I think any training program for customer service should start with, well, what do your customers expect from you? What is it that they need to know? For me, I made a list. This is the list that I have. This is the essential things that I expect that all of us at Cali can do. I need you to be competent in handling our customers. Did it switch? Shit. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. Worst comes to worst. Oh, I've been behind the whole time. I need you to be competent in handling our customers. I need you to know this job. I need you to know how our software works. I want you to know where the markers are at. I want you to know how to schedule a makeup. You need to know how to prorate tuition, and you have to know where Lynn left her keys probably 5 times a day. Right, Pam? Pam took a picture of my keys the other day and said, here's where your keys are at. Knowledgeable. Very similar, but I need you to know the answers. I need you to know who teacher Lisa is and what skills are being taught in water bugs. I need you to know what time the cheer team is meeting for pictures, even though that only happens 1 time a year. I need you to know when the first show is on Saturday, what a UV system is, and why we don't put dancers on point until after age 12. And I need you to learn from every experience so that you know now, you know more tomorrow than what you know today. And some of the things that I didn't know, how many calories are in the granola machines and the vending machines? I mean, the granola bars and the vending machines? No idea. I said, next time, I'm going to know that. Someone asked me. We get asked a lot of homework questions. What is the capital of Kenya? I now know. Anyone know? Nairobi. Who answered that? Ooh, bonus points for you. You get a jar of jelly. And you have to know where that darn elf on the shelf is. Anyone play that game at work? If you don't have an elf on the shelf, you have to get it. And that becomes the question all day. Know where the elf on the shelf is. Any customer service training session should hit one or more of these categories. You have to be ready to respond. I don't want you doing something else when they walk up. I want someone needs to be ready to respond. You have to be willing to help. I want you to be able to instill confidence that when I do help you, you're going to be able to do it. I don't like it when someone comes to the front desk and says, actually, I'm waiting for Alma. I want them to be able to instill confidence that any of us, it's never me, but any of us can help you. You need to be invariably kind. Always, always kind. It's such a big recurring motif at Galilee. Kindness, you lead with kindness all the time. I need you to be attentive and focused, completely undivided, your presence with this person that you're working with, and you need to be timely. Let's get on it right now, not later. So this is what our customers expect. When I think about putting together a customer service training plan, I'm going to start with, what do they expect? So this year we did something new. We created maxims. I've talked about it a couple times. We created maxims for our customer service. And our first one, I told you, is be the one. It's written in my house. The next one is everyone is a friend. And we treat our friends well, and we need to remember that everybody who comes to that front desk is a friend. Even though sometimes we don't feel that way, we somehow have to put that in our hearts. We operate on the now, not later. I got upset quietly with one of my very best customer service people because someone came in from Open Gym and their children were playing, and she said, I'd like to find out about the preschoolers. Is that a preschool over there? And she said, yes, it is. I'd be happy to tell you. And then she said, are you doing Open Gym right now? And she said, well, yes, I am. And I could see her looking at the paperwork. And then our front desk staff said, and she was doing something. She said, I'll tell you what. I'll gather all the paperwork for you, and then you enjoy Open Gym, and you can come back later, and I'll have it ready for you. And I know she thought that was a great answer, and I'll bet it kind of sounds pretty good. But it wasn't the answer the customer was looking for. The customer wanted to do that. She would have stayed at Open Gym and come up at the end of Open Gym. And so we basically, in a really polite, seemingly smart way, denied that customer. This particular customer service rep is so experienced. The problem that I have with her is she tends to over-guide every conversation. She knows what they're going to say next, what she's going to say, and what they're going to say, and she guides it gently and smartly to where she wants it to be so that it's the most efficient process for her, I swear. And it's very hard to teach her that she's doing this. But the better answer to me would be, let me help you find that. How's Open Gym going? Like it? Isn't this so fun? Okay, we've gotten right then and there. It's now, not later. Our fourth maxim is now. Seamless service. We adopted that this year. Here's where we're looking for hiccups in our processes, times where we missed the boat, where something didn't go well, customer had to wait. I told you the example of everyone pulled up at Thanksgiving, not understanding we were closed. First touch resolution is our fifth one. That's where we want anybody in our operation to be able to solve the problem so that it doesn't have to go through 6 more people who have the authority, who cost Georgette and I a lot more money per hour. Sorry, I'm going to miss the clicker. As you embark on a customer service training plan for the year, each service or each training event that you do, you need to determine what the best training method is for that purpose. And there's all kinds of different training methods. You may have a lecture. You may have a group discussion. There's problem-solving exercises. You can do theatrics and role-playing. You can do games. Certainly you can set people up in teams and work on things, projects together. You can demonstrate the concept. A good training session considers what is the best way for me to teach this concept, what's the best way for me to get the message across. You're not going to teach a message on emergencies and trauma in the gym with a series of games. I would not make that a game lesson plan. takes away the seriousness of the subject matter. And if you're going to be introducing the new JO Code of Points to your gymnastic coaches, you're not going to introduce it as a group discussion. There's nothing to discuss. They've given us the point values. We now just have to convey that to our coaches. We can't really argue about it. Whatever your topic, make sure you put some thought into how you're going to present it. And generally, when we do our training, we try to incorporate 2 to 3 training methods. No one wants to sit there for the whole time at a lecture, and no one wants to play games the whole time either. And here's an important message to me on customer service. This is what we tend to do all the time with customer service, and I don't know why. First of all, personally, as fun as I am, I don't really like fun and games in training. I shudder every time I go to a conference and everyone says, do this, we're going to do this, go talk to this person you don't know. I'm actually not very social at all. I'm faking it for 3 days here. And when I have to go across the hall and meet a bunch of people and make small talk with them, I just want to leave and go to the bathroom. It's just hard for me. Well, with customer service, for whatever reason, that's the one we game it up, and we get costumes out and makeup out and balloons, and we're going to build houses out of straw, and we spend 3 hours doing what we could have done in an hour because we want to make it really, really fun for people. Well, I just think that customer service is really, really serious. And I might do a little game, but it's going to be a small portion of what I'm trying to convey. I tend to feel like we need to have lots of strong content, and we need to make it really, really relevant. And I feel like we underestimate the importance of customer service when we do a whole bunch of silly, silly, silly stuff. I know the way that Georgette looks at it. She's going to add up. In California, if we're going to call a meeting, we have to call a meeting for 2 hours. And we can't back it up to a regular shift because there's people that aren't working that shift. So if we're going to get together 150 people and have a 2-hour training session, she's not going to want us to be playing games during that training session. And I get that. You add everybody's payroll rate, you add the 30% for workers' comp, and you add the sandwiches that we provide, and this could cost us $3,000 to $5,000. And I'm going to be mad, and Georgette's going to be mad if we just hopped around and built houses out of straws and hoped that someone understood that had to do with, let's be a good team. My favorite, sorry. Before I say that, adult learners, remember, we're not working with our kids, we're working with our adults. They want to know what is expected and how the training will evolve. So as you put forward, just like with any other lesson plan that you do in your facility, treat your adults with that same, this is what we're going to be doing, and then review it at the end. Make sure you include your adult learners in that. They can see the difference between, fun, and then whether or not they really got a good piece of information out of it. And when they walk out the door, you'll hear the talk. And even your young ones who you think like all this fun stuff are saying, oh, I don't really know what I learned. I just came here for 2 hours. I have a homework assignment due tonight. Okay. Here's what I like the best, actually. Of all the things that I've done with customer service training, this ongoing quiz has been, I think, one of our strongest tools. So what we do is we keep an ongoing list of customer service conundrums. Things that have happened where it's just, oh, she said what? She did what? And what did you do? And we make a list. And then from that list, we create some scenarios, just like we've done here. So I'm going to go through this with you, and we try to put other answers on there that either really did happen or that we could see people answering. And I have found that when we go through these, we do anywhere between 5 and 10 or 20 with our staff once or twice a year, and we're bringing up these current situations. It's quite educational, and it's personal, and it's real, and it's relevant, and it really did happen. So let's go through these. Mrs. Allen is furious. Her 9-year-old's been outside waiting for 20 minutes and no one noticed, and that happened. She was pissed. Her kid was little. She left her class. She went outside and waited outside by the front door, and she was just mad that, why didn't you guys bring her inside? And of course you want to say, well, why are you 20 minutes late? But that's not what we did. So Anne explains, we don't provide supervision for students before or after class, and she asks, can I help find a class time that's easier for you? It's not a good answer. Why? It's condescending, and that bit about, can I find a class at time that's better for you, is basically saying, you were late, mommy, and I know it, and you know it, but let me try to hide that blatant statement behind a customer service fake statement. Can I find a better class for you? It's like, no, don't let my kid outside. That's all I care about. It's not the right answer. She's going to see through it. Lou apologizes and asks if she would like to speak to her coach who released her from class. It's like, catch this spear. And making it clear that it wasn't me who did this. And so that's not a first touch resolution, and that coach is now probably with another class, and it's throwing him under the bus. Bree listens intently and says that this is important enough for the owner to call her back and ask for her number. Almost. I mean, I kind of like the idea of saying this is important enough. I like that. But it fell short when she said, let me get your number and I'll have the owner call. I don't care that that kid was out there for 20 minutes. Jackie cares about that. And Pam cares about that. And Jamie cares about that. So bringing someone else into the circle of love isn't a bad idea, except that at Cal Elite, we believe in first touch resolution. So you can't pass the buck that way either. Heather apologizes, not bad. You guys, there are books written about whether or not you should apologize and when to apologize and what kind of language that you use. Heather apologizes. I would agree in this situation, an apology would be totally appropriate. And speaking to both Mrs. Allen and her daughter, so far so good. If you ever get out of class and mom is not here yet, you need to wait inside the lobby. Kind of threw a spear. Who'd she throw it at this time? The child. Heather shows her exactly where, and this is what happened, by the way. Heather shows her exactly where she can wait and adds that she can also come to the front desk to call mom. Well, I like that she didn't throw a spear at any of us and didn't give anybody my phone number. I like that she was teaching the child and including the child in the lesson. Heather is our preschool director. Everything for her is a teachable moment. So I certainly understand why she came up with the solution. But mom's going to feel like, don't blame my kid for this. I was late. It's my fault, yes. And mom's going to feel like, and you guys weren't paying attention. She just went outside to wait for me like she should. So I don't believe bringing the child into the circle of love there like that was the best answer. Janet listens intently and then assures Mrs. Allen, this was an answer. This is a very safe neighborhood. Lots of kids wait outside. We've never had a problem. Great. So you guys do this all the time. So when I file my lawsuit, I'm going to know that this happens all the time at Cal Elite. Chrissy says she's very sorry. She did not notice Lily was outside by herself for so long. Chrissy gives Mrs. Allen the front desk's phone number and tells her if she's ever running late, call her and she will intercept Lily after class. Bingo. My favorite. Didn't blame anybody. We're going to solve it for next time. We didn't blame the child. Let me come up with a solution. And she apologized. Sue listens wide-eyed. Well, I like that. I like that. Paying attention. Apologizes sincerely, thanks Mrs. Allen for bringing it to her attention, says she'll make sure it does not happen again. Setting yourself up for, because it's probably going to happen next week. So good intention, great start, but those kind of promises really are not smart. A dad interrupts your class and says their teacher's not there. He's angry, says the coach was 10 minutes late last week and there was a sub the week before. This happens. And here, Tony is who's the coach? The coach is trying to teach his own class. Tony tells Dad he'll get right on it. He asked the tier coach, can you combine classes with my level 1 gym class so I can find someone who can handle this situation? Attentive, on the spot, timely. There's one problem. What do all the other parents of the 16 kids who are not involved thinking as their class now gets combined and that lesson gets compromised? Jenna responds, she understands why he's upset. Good, acknowledge it. Apologizes for the confusion. Okay. Explains she cannot leave her class unattended. I get that. Asks him to go to the front desk so they can assist him. It's not bad. It's not a bad answer. It's probably a truthful answer most of the time in our gym during prime time. That's probably what's going to happen. Susan tells Dad that the gym will be happy to credit him for the time missed. She adds that she thinks the coach will arrive any minute, but that if he doesn't show up or she doesn't show up, go to the front desk and they'll be able to get him a refund. That was really presumptive. That's assuming that this parent only cares about the money, and he didn't say anything about the money. Didn't even come up. He wants the coach there. So she's providing a solution that sometimes works at the very, very end as an add-on, but is not the go-to original solution. Will apologizes, tells him the front desk will be happy to help him. Will asks his name and tells him he'll follow up with him tomorrow personally to make sure the matter was resolved. Not a bad idea. It makes me nervous for one reason. How many of my coaches are actually going to personally follow up tomorrow and remember that this even happened once they're in the in and out line 20 minutes after work? So that would be an unusual success, would have an unusually high success rate. I'd be surprised. Coach Victoria apologizes, thanks her for bringing it to her attention, tells him that the manager, Molly, is standing right by there, the clipboard by the door, and she can resolve this. That would be the best answer. If Molly was there, and that's our challenge at Cal Elite. We might have managers that are around, but honestly, a lot of times they're not right there when you need them. And so we might have a hybrid of these answers. It might be where I'm going to get Molly for you and I leave my class just for a second or two and not why I go all the way out of the gym into the front office. Depending on your situation, I know at certain facilities there's always a floating manager who can handle anything at any time, and it's just a matter of establishing eye contact and you've solved the problem. Mrs. Johnson is angry that the facility sells candy. She feels the facility that promotes fitness for children shouldn't be selling junk food. Lance says he agrees, and he's told the owners it makes a bad impression for them to sell junk food. Thanks, Lance. He asks her for her number, tells her, I'll have a manager call. He thanks her for taking time to share her concerns. Sam says she's not a fan of candy, but that sadly the vast majority of families are. She says it's a shame that most parents don't watch what their kids eat. Well, that was kind of like she's trying to compliment her, didn't solve one single thing. Rory responds that we try to stock the machines with a variety of choices and points out there are several healthier choices. She asks if there's a particular product she would like us to order. I actually like that answer. In a way, it's a little bit teachy-preachy, like, here, dum-dum, did you see the granola bar and the cheese crackers? Those aren't half bad. Depends on who you are, right? Leah responds that no one buys anything when we stock the machines with healthy choices. She says that's that the owners simply put in what sells. No. I mean, true, but don't say that. Jeremy responds that when he gets where she's coming from, he suggests, this is what happened. He suggests that she treat it as a teachable moment. Jeremy's like 18. To teach her child that she can't always get what she wants. This is why I know about this. This is why it became a question, because that answer didn't work and Mom did find me. Kurt asks her if her child is diabetic. Is she allergic to candy? Is she allergic to peanuts? Mrs. Johnson asks to talk to the owner. No, the kid can eat the stuff. I choose for her not to. Why do you have it here? Okay, those are, I want to make sure I give Ann time. I'm going to do one more. A caller says she received a gift certificate for a free session from Jane, the owner, but lost it. Ann says she's sorry, but she needs the actual certificate in order to honor the free class. Brenda says she's happy to take her number and have Jane call her back to resolve the situation. Now, first one, of course, is terrible because we would not do that, and you don't want to convey you're a liar, liar, pants on fire, coming up with a fake certificate so you can get a free class. Who's going to think of that? And you know what? If they do it and they're gutsy enough, give them the class. Brenda says you take the number. Well, it's kind of the same thing. As soon as you didn't solve it right then and there, you're basically saying, I'm going to go check up on this, and the owner will call you back to see if you really did get a certificate or not. Kathy asked her to hold on for a minute so she can verify the certificate with Jane. I like it a little bit better because we're giving her the class now, but we're still going to check on it, like we don't believe her, and we're doing it right there and now while she's standing there, and she's trying to find me or Georgette. Bill asked her where she received the certificate and asked her to describe it. Convinced her as being truthful, he tells her, I'm happy to find a class for you. And the last one, which is what happened, Dana tells her she is happy to honor the certificate and asks her what class she's interested in. So there's a couple more in the back. I actually have probably 100 questions like this that I've made over the years. I'd be happy to share them with you. In the meantime, I would encourage you to create your own. It's a lot of fun. Come on up, Ann. And your staff will have fun providing the answers, and they have fun writing them and giving the fake answers too. And it's a good training tool. So that's your staff training idea for the summit this year.